everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. Thanks for joining me. Today's card is one of the cards from the August 2024 card class where we are doing wow cards. Those are cards with multiple layers or a special fold, fun fold. And as you see, today's card is using the Latte Love Bundle, as well as the coordinating paper that goes with that, which is a little Latte Designer Series paper. I've seen this card called a couple different names. One is a triple panel Z fold, but I've also seen it called a tower card. So I'm going to call it a stacked tower card. But it's a fun card. Of course, on the back you do your sentiment. And I have been wanting to use this Latte Love, and I thought this would be a perfect card style to try this on. So let me go over the materials that we're going to be using for this card. And just so you know, all of the materials will be listed in the description of this video, as well as I will have the dimensions. But for our card base, we're using Lagoon Cardstock. We have a piece that is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is scored at 1 and 3. Then we have the 3 panels, which are also 7 1/4, and they are also scored at 1 1/2 and 3. We have our basic white for our back panel, which is the standard 4 by 5 1/4. A scrap of basic white for our sentiment, which we will fussy cut. Let me pull that in so you can see it. Then we're going to have a piece of the Designer Series paper that we are using the nested essential dies to cut our shape. We also have another piece of Lost Lagoon, and there again, that's to die cut with the nested essentials die. And then, of course, we're going to have our Designer Series paper. We have a 1-inch strip for the back. And then we have the 3 strips for the front of Designer Series paper. Those are all 4 inches by 1 1/4. And then we also have 6 that are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 to go on the pieces there. You will also have need scraps of the Lost Lagoon and Calypso Coral to cut the cups with. So, of course, the dies that we're going to need from the set, we are using, of course, I said the nested essentials, and then the Latte Love dies that we're going to use. This little die here that has like 2 little oval shapes, that's our coffee and our coffee cup. And then we have 2 different coffee cups, one that faces one way, one with the handle facing the other, so you have a little bit of option. You'll need to cut 2 of each, 2 of the Calypso Coral, 2 of the Lost Lagoon, and then, of course, 2 for the coffee. And just you'll use the Designer Series paper that we cut for this back panel. There's if you cut a large enough piece, you can cut them all at the same time. The ink we're using is Pecan Pie. And the only stamp, here is the stamp set. Of course, it has a cup, and if you're looking into a cup, the different designs that can be put on that. A splat, you know, the little splot for the coffee that spills. But we're using the Hello There, Let's Catch Up stamp. And then these 2 coffee cups are from the Designer Series paper. Let me pull pull that over. There's a piece that has, there are two pieces actually, that have the different coffee cups on there. So you just pick which cups that you want to use, whether you want to use the pink and the Lost Lagoon or the yellow and the pink, and that's what obviously I decided to use. And those you will fussy cut. So let's pull in, and to keep the video a little shorter, I have prepped a few things ahead of time, but I did want to go through the steps on assembling the card. So first we're going to take and burnish the score lines on all of our cardstocks, and we're doing this in a V shape, not a V shape, how about a Z shape? So it would be like so. And then we're going to do the same with these little strips. Only and before we start attaching these, we will add the designer series paper to it. Just it makes it a little bit easier to do that. So pull in your designer series paper strips, and let's go ahead and get these pasted onto our strips. Now our strips will go as such. So this is a very quick card to put together. The things that took the longest for it, of course, were with all of the cutting. So it's a good thing, that a good card design that you can just cut and then have all the pieces ready to assemble on another day if you want. Now we'll bring in our little panels. And as you see, this takes not a lot of time to pull this together. I don't know about you, but I am a coffee lover, so when I saw this set, I knew I wanted to get it. So that I could send cards to friends that also enjoy, that we like to get together and have coffee. So now you're going to lay your base piece out with the short 1.5 inch fold to your left, and then the larger panel of the strip will go on that. And I found it easiest to add the top and bottom piece and then the center last because I could space that. I actually have these layered so that they are even with the top and bottom. So let's go ahead and put that on. And actually, I found it easier to put the bottom on first and then come back and do the top one. Oops, wrong end, Margaret, but that's okay. I flipped it, caught myself before I went too far with that. And I like to turn it, handle it to make sure you get them lined up. And then we'll do our last one. That makes it easier to center that in there. Now we can come back and attach the other pieces. And I found 3 strips of the Stampin' Seal was ample. Now, if you're using liquid adhesive or any other, all adhesives, you want to make sure that you do not, if you're applying it to this side, that you don't go past the 1.5 inch piece. And then you want to look and make sure that you're getting that straight. Oops, I got some on my finger. I'm going to put a little bit more closer to the edge of that one. There we go. And now let me flick this off with my fingers. Now we'll just align this. And then after we get it on, I see, let's see, I'm a little crooked here. It slipped a little on me. Actually, it's my paper that's crooked. Let me pull the paper off and realign that. There, that's better. Just lifting that edge. And then what I like to do, as you see, I'm taking my bone folder and I'm just going over this, making sure that everything is pressed down good and that the creases, that they're nice and sharp. That gives us that nice box fold. We can see where I lifted that. That doesn't have a little adhesive. Let me push that down. There we go. Now to do our embellishment. So as I mentioned, you're going to cut a piece of the Lost Lagoon and then, of course, a piece of the Designer Series paper. And we're just going to layer these two together. And then we're going to lay it on our card. And we can do that. We can either lay it here or you could go up higher. But I liked it down a little bit lower because we're going to put the cups up. So as you notice, you've got open space behind here, so you do not want to put adhesive there. And it really just takes a little adhesive. So what I did was on the points and along the one edge, and then I just little at the corner. And then we'll just sort of center that. So we have that centered. And next we're going to pull in our coffee cups. I have already cut one, fussy cut one, but I have another one here because the second cup, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to fussy cut the cups. It goes rather quickly. So we just cut around those, and we're going to add the cups onto those the little layering panels that we cut with the nested essentials die. We're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. So pull in our dimensionals. Place our yellow cup first, the larger behind, and then our smaller cup will go in front, overlapping those. And now recall, because this is overlapping, we don't want to put the dimensionals on the front left side of the cup. Instead, you can use just a glue dot. Let me grab my glue dot. And put a glue dot to hold it as it's resting against that other cup. Now we will, while we have the back panel here, let's go ahead and attach the designer's, that 1-inch strip to the bottom. Of course, you can, if you wanted, you could stamp on the back of the panel, maybe the splotches or the little coffee heart. That would look cute. You could even do coffee beans, but I wanted to just do a coffee cup. And so, as I mentioned, I have already cut and prepared these cups. I do have one because I just want to show you how easy it is to put this coffee in there. If you've got a pair of the little tweezers, they make it easy. But we're just going to take and set that right there. We'll let that dry. But on the back, I used a blue Lost Lagoon cup. We have that ready to add to the back. Then we'll finish up the front. Put a little, let's see. So now the back of our card is ready. These I just placed and put in place using little glue dots. Of course, you could use your adhesive, but I found a glue dot was strong enough just to hold. They're very lightweight because they're just a small cup. And I'm tilting them like they're hanging on a coffee tree, mug tree. But of course, these have coffee, so they wouldn't be, but it just adds a little bit more interest. So we will pull in our scrap of white, pull in the sentiment, and you could also use early espresso, but I thought the pecan pie ink looked good. And for the envelope, I think I'm going to put a splat. Let me grab a stamp, that splat stamp, and just add it to the front. Oh, no, take that back. Let's do, yeah, let's do the little splat. I was going to say do the heart, but I think that the splat will work good. And I think one on there is enough. That just adds a little something different to the front of the envelope. We could also put coffee beans on there if we wanted, but I just decided as we're making this to add that to the envelope. So now let's just fussy cut around our sentiment, and then we'll almost be through with this card. We have a coffee group here at the lake where I live. There are a group of about 12 or 15. I think there's about 15 in the group now that we try to meet, excuse me, once a month. Just to have coffee in the morning. Of course, not everyone drinks coffee there, but we meet at a coffee shop and we chat and laugh and talk about our families, share what's going on It's nice to have that social time with one another. And we're going to add our sentiment to the front, and that is also on dimensionals on the end, and then of course a glue dot, just like we did with the cup, on the area that overlaps the cup that already has dimensionals. It will add enough height on there. And put 2 dimensionals on, or 2 glue dots and the 1 large dimensional. I don't like the way that, let me soften that. I cut that at a sharp angle. Let me just round that a little. There we go. And the same at the bottom. So we have hello there, let's catch up. And now we're going to add, you know what, I'm going to pull that off just a touch. I see something that I do not like the way I cut. See if I can do that. I'm going to come up a little bit higher so that it looks straighter. And now go down where the word up is. There we go. To me, that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. It didn't look like it was all slanted every which way. Yes, I know that's being nitpicky. There. Now, make sure I have the hello part straight. Hello there, let's catch up. It's easier to fold the card and place that. And then last but not least, I'm pulling in the adhesive back swirl dots. I'm using the darker ones, since that's predominant in there, but any of those dots would work depending upon, you might not want to use this plaid background, but use another of the backgrounds. And I'm going to have to use my, oh, here it is. I was going to say, take my pick tool. I like to use it for adding dimensionals. Of course, there's the adhesive end, and there's also that, or the little sort of glue end that's good for that too, but I like to use the pointer section. So there, we have completed our tower card, our panel, let's call it paneled tower card, featuring the Latte Love stamp set, as well as the designer series paper that coordinates with that, and that is called A Little Latte. So this is Margaret Knight. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you would, take a moment to like this video, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do. Be sure to check out all of the dimensions that are needed to create this card, as well as the materials in the description of this video. I will let you know the Little Love or Latte Love is a online exclusive set, so you will not see this in the catalog. It is in the online exclusives on the website. But thank you. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.